Hello, this is Oliver Stringer here to demonstrate the tower defense project, part 1. If I hit play here, see I have my map here, and in a couple of seconds it'll start spawning enemies. There we go. And as you can see, they travel mostly along this path. They're not quite spot on in some areas, especially around the curves, but they move forward, and if we click on them, approximately 3 times they disappear, and you can see that our coins go up by 5 for every enemy we defeat. And I don't know how well you can see because it might be small on your screen, but here they do have numbers indicating their health that accurately update in real time. And currently they'll just keep spawning forever, and when they reach the end they don't really do anything. In the editor here, all we basically have is just this image, which is a 2D sprite. The only important thing here is these nodes, which are just empty game objects with colliders, so that we can point them to the next one. They're basically built sort of like a linked list where each one holds the position of the last one and the next one. And in the case of the first one, we have checked that it is a spawner, which means that every couple of seconds it will spawn the enemy that is placed into this position here. We also have an empty game object that is the coin manager, which holds the scripts for the coins, which I'll explain in a moment. We have the two prefabs, which is the nodes, which as I said are just an empty game object with a collider, and the enemy, which is just a plain cube. And I've increased the size of the collider because they're very small on the screen and it makes clicking on them easier. And they also have a text mesh which holds their health. So as for scripts, we only have 3. We have the coin control script, which I'll start with because it's the most simple. As you may have seen before, it basically has a field for the text that is the amount, and that is just a text object that's in the canvas, and the float to indicate the current number of coins, which starts at 1. All it does is constantly update the text to the amount of coins, and the way that coins is changed is through the enemy control script. Here we have variables for the speed, the health, and how many coins it's worth. We have the text mesh for the displaying the health bar, and the transforms for the previous node and the next node. We also have a variable to keep track of how much health we started with, and the coin control script. When we start, we're immediately going to find the coin manager and get access to that coin control script so that we can increment the number of coins we have, and we set our starting health to the amount of health we have. So basically what this does is constantly uses a vector 3 move towards in order to slowly move the enemy towards the next node each step. If our health variable ever falls below 1, we reach into the coin script and increase the value by how much the enemy is worth, and then we destroy ourselves. And if we don't do that, if we're still alive, then we run show health, and all show health does is it constantly updates our health bar to display our current health over our starting health. And on trigger enter is what triggers whenever we collide with a node. Basically, if that node is not our previous node, which is just there to ensure that it doesn't reactivate another while it's still inside it or clip into the same one twice, then we set this new one to the one we're going from, and we reach into the node control script of the object we collided with to get the transform of the next node. And finally, the on mouse down function just tells it when we've been clicked on, and when we do that, we decrease our health. In our last script, we have not much going on because these are mainly just empty transforms to create the path. But we have a bools to tell us whether this is the spawning node or the final node. We have the game object of the enemy in case we do need to spawn them, and then we have objects for the last and previous nodes and next node. We have a timer, which we'll need when we're spawning, and basically, if we are a spawner, which is the only time it actually needs to do anything, we constantly increase the timer, and if the timer goes over 4 seconds, so every 4 seconds, we run the spawn function and reset timer to 0. Spawn basically just instantiates an enemy and then sets its previous to our current transform position and sets its destination to the next node transformation. And that is the project so far. Thank you.